what asymptotic notations here is meaning is we are trying to find some notations which are corrected in the form of asymptotes and which are going to give us some help in calculating the complexity of our algorithm. So we move on to big O, theta notation and some notations. What do I mean by any notation? In a layman language again, supposedly I am having some function f of n. This is some function. I am trying to find out another function which restricts this function. That means that beyond a particular point, this function should be greater than the given function or this function should be less than the given function. That is what I'm going to bound the function. So let's just see where this is representing n and this is representing f of n or g of n or c of n, whatever we are having. So this is some function of n, this is n. Now supposedly there is another function, supposedly g of n is existing, which is initially greater than f of n, but after some point it is always less than f of n. So after some positive point n naught, this function is always less than f of n. Or maybe I can also say that the same function is say multiplied by some constant here and there is another constant here which I am multiplying. After the same point n naught, this function is always greater than the given function. So what is happening is I am trying to bound the function f of n by the function g of n in some terms. Now in case g of n is above f of n, then it is an upper bound. In case g of n is lower than f of n, it is a lower bound. The basic meaning is that. So if I'm trying to officially give you the definition, this is an example where g of n is a theta bound on f of n. It is bounding it strictly in between it. So what am I having in a basic definition is that f of n is equal to theta g of n. It is a theta bound on the function if there exists positive constants. I'm again saying positive constants C1, C2 and N naught. There are three positive constants here, C1, C2 and N naught, such that C1 of Gn is always less than equal to f of n and my given function f of n is always less than equal to C2 G of n. That or whatever it is, C2Gn is greater than f of n, C1Gn is less than f of n for all n greater than equal to n naught. After this n naught, this condition always holds true. That means f of n is strictly bounded by the function g of n or it is a theta bound. Is the definition clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is theta bound. Now, in case the function is only binding the function on the upper and there is no lower bound on it, in case there is existing a function which is only giving me an upper bound, it is known as a big O notation. That means I am saying that there exists positive constant C and N naught such that f of n is always less than c of gn for all n greater than is equal to n naught, then it is said to be upper bounded by the function g of n. Is that clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And big O notations के case में you will be knowing that if f of n is upper bounded by g of n, then g of n is also upper bounded by f of n for some other positive constant. ये हमेशा याद रखना. What do I mean by this? What am I meaning by this? I am saying that f of n is a supposedly some function n cube plus 2n square plus 16. What will be the gn for this? Or if I am saying that big O of fn is, in this case,
N cube.
n cube, because it is the polynomial here which we are adding in the highest manner, highest order polynomial n cube. Now I am also saying that n cube at some point when I am multiplying it with some constant, It will always be greater than this. There will definitely be some constant which I am multiplying with fn, which will be greater than n cube, which is in our case 1 only. Understanding? So this will hold true for every function. F of n is, if it is having g of n, some function which is its upper bound, then g of n ka upper bound will also be f of n, only the constant value will change. Positive constant c की value change होगी. ये clear है सबको? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, there is a lower bound or an omega bound, which we can define in a very similar manner. When I am creating a lower bound or an omega bound on some function, so I am having some function, say I am having some function f of n, and there is some function which is multiplied by a constant c. This is always less than the given function. So again, I am saying that f of n is omega bounded by g of n if there exists positive constant c and n naught such that f of n is always greater than equal to c into g of n for all n greater than equal to n naught. So this will give me an omega bound. Strict bounds and loose bounds, I hope, are also clear to all of you. If I remove this equal to sign, this will become a loose bound. If I am having this equal to sign, it remains as a strict bound for all omega, theta and big O notation. Are the asymptotic notations clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
let me
ma'am.
quickly move on to the growth of functions, and let's see the example. What do I mean by growth of functions? So what we have is growth of functions is what we are trying to find out. What do I mean by growth of functions? Sorry. So let me take a very small example. Supposedly, I am having a function void test. It is having a parameter n. I am taking C for example, assuming that you all know the language. There is no hard and fast rule of any language. I'm just taking a very small example of how am I actually going to calculate the running time of a given code. So just taking an example. If n is greater than 0, then I am performing some task. Say I'm having a loop which is running till I less than n, and I am changing the loop variable by I into 2. Let's see what will happen here. And what am I doing? I am printing the value of the loop variable. And I'm recursively calling the function also within the for loop. Oh, sorry, outside the for loop, within the if condition, I'm calling the function recursively also. So first of all, we should be able to create a time function for this. Supposedly, this is a piece of code I'm having. So we have to understand how many times each of this is running. Now here n I'm taking as my input. What I have to find out is t of n. What is t of n? T of n is the running time of this algorithm. This is what I'm trying to find. So let's see how many time each and every instruction is going to execute. N change hone se for loop will be changing. So we are just trying to find out what will be the function that we can create that we are going to use in all throughout the semester. Not this function, but the method that we are using. So what happens is, how many times is the for loop running?
Ma'am, log in.
All of you agree to log in?
Yes,
Since
ma'am.
it is I into 2 into 2 into 2, so the loop is going to run for log n times. This loop is going to run for log n times. There is the marker. Get me? This loop is going to run for log n time. Is this visible? I don't think
Yes,
so.
ma'am.
Okay, chalo. So if this loop is running for log n time, and here I am going to call this whatever time, how much time is this statement going to take? it is going to take t of n minus 1 time. Since the same function is going to be called for an input n minus 1, whatever time is taken by the function test for n input, the same time, same function will be there for calculating the time. So Tn minus 1 time will be taken by this statement. Am I clear to all?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I hope
Yes,
all of you
ma'am.
are able to understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes, ma'am.
In case you are not able to understand, please stop and ask. Okay. And how many times is this going to happen? If this is going to take Tn time, then how can I say what is Tn? I can say for this particular function, T of n is equal to T of n minus 1 plus log n. Why am I doing a plus log n here? Because they are statements in sequence. This test n minus 1 is not within the loop. It is outside the loop. They are sequential statements. So जो भी time लग रहा है एक एक statement को execute होने में, that is added. So Tn minus 1 is added with log n. And there will be some constant multiplied with the instruction that I am removing for the calculation purpose. So I'm again saying I'm deriving the timing for this particular given code to be Tn minus 1 plus log n. Am I clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So I hope all of you have noted this, because now I'll be removing and we'll understand how do I calculate the complexity for this function.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, can you please explain again log n wala part once again?
Sure, my dear. So I have to understand that if I'm having a for loop, how is the variable changing? I is initially supposedly say 8. Supposedly I'm just taking some value. I is running from n is supposedly 8. So I is running from 1 to 8 and I is changing by 2. So one time I run the loop, I is 1, 1 less than 8, condition is true. The loop learns for one time. Next time I becomes I into 2, I becomes 2. 2 is still less than 8, the loop will run. 2 times the loop has run now. Next time I becomes 4. 4 less than 8 is again true. So the loop has run for 3 times. Next time I becomes 8. 2 into 4 is 8. The condition becomes false, we come out of the loop. So how many times is the loop running? Since I am having I is getting changed by a factor of multiplication of 2 and 2 of 2 of 2 of every time. So that is why I calculate I to be is equal to this. This is the number of times that my loop is running. Log 2n is equal to the number of times that the loop is running. Are you understanding this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Power of 2 it is taking. So 3 times is log 2 to the base 2, 8 is 3. So 3 times this loop is running. That is why since I was changing the variable, अगर यहाँ पे सिर्फ I plus plus होता तो n times the loop would have been running. Since I is changing by I into 2, that is why this loop is running for log n time. And this test n minus 1 is taking whatever time test function takes for the input n minus 1. That is why Tn becomes Tn minus 1 plus log n. Is this clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody any doubt can still ask, or else we will try to solve this using a new method which is known as a recursive tree method. Now we are going to a recursive tree method. What happens in a recursive tree method is, now I am having Tn. The time taken to execute Tn is log n plus T of n minus 1. Now I want to find out what is the time taken to execute T of n minus 1. T of n minus 1 को execute करने में कितना time लगेगा? Log of n minus 1 plus T of n minus 2.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you will agree to that. This will again take log of n minus 2 plus T of n minus 3 time. I am creating a recursive tree for breaking the function. That is why this method is known as a recursive tree method. So what do? I keep on breaking this term till I'm able to reach, say I'm having a log 2 and I'm having t of 3 and so on. Log 2 में sorry t of 1 आएगा, n minus 3n. So I'm having a t of 1 which will again be broken down to log 1 and t of 0. So till here I am going to break down this recursive tree method. Is this tree clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if I am going to add these terms, what am I going to get? My Tn is equal to log n plus log of n minus 1 plus log of n minus 2 plus log 2 plus log 1. Are you all clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope all of you are getting what I am trying to do over here. Plus till I am getting log of 2 plus log of 1. Yes or no? And by the very property
Yes, ma'am.
of log, if I am having log n plus log n minus 1 plus log n minus 2, can I write this all as log of n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into 2 into 1? Can I do that? Basic logarithm.
Yes, ma'am.
property. This becomes log
Yes,
of
Yes, ma'am.
n factorial.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we have to see what do we have n factorial upper bounded by. We have seen that log of n factorial is coming out to be t of n. ये clear हो गया? Now if I go with the very finding of n factorial का function कहाँ से bounded है? So the upper bound that I have on this very function is n raised to the power n. n factorial में क्या होगा? n into n minus maximum highest order term क्या आएगी? n raised to the power n. Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So n factorial is upper bounded by n raised to the power n. That is why now I'm using this sign over here, since I'm going to turn this into a notation function. So this becomes log of n raised to the power n. Log of n raised to the power n, I can rewrite this as n log of n. Can I do that?
Yes, ma'am.
That means my given function Tn, which was log of n plus t of n minus 1, this is upper bounded by n log n. Is this clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
This is one way of finding the complexity of algorithm. That is why I was saying asymptotic notations are clear to all or not. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.